So, you've just gotten out of a relationship. Congratulations or my condolences, whatever is best applicable to your situation. I think it's safe to say that going through a breakup is not necessarily easy. But in my opinion, what I'm more concerned with is how you're choosing to move on from that relationship. Because the reality is, it's ended. And it ended for a reason. But what you choose to do post-relationship to deal with that new void in your life that inevitably emerges is what's important. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Her Venom. Let's just get right into it today. Rebounding. And how it's all just a massive performance of avoidance. How you choose to move on after a relationship ends is very important when it comes to your healing. It's very important when it comes to you truly moving on from a part of your life that used to be most of your life or took up a big part of your life. So what are you going to choose to do? Are you going to rebel? Go out partying with your friends, go to the club, go to bars, get drunk, indulge in the things that you were once condemned for doing while you were in a relationship. Maybe you felt trapped in that relationship. Like anytime you did go out with your friends, it was always an issue. Are you going to get under someone or get under multiple people to get over someone and engage in that toxic hookup culture that's become so normalized? Or are you going to isolate yourself to learn, to grow from that past relationship? Are you going to use that time alone to become a better person, not only for yourself, but for that next person that comes along in your life that you want to settle into a relationship with? And that saying, you need to get under someone to get over someone, I literally hate it so much because not only is it a reflection of your lack of self-worth and self-respect, it's also a reflection of who you are as a person. Why are you using another human being for your own selfish reasons? Why are you using another human being for your own self-validation? And it also doesn't even work. If it does work, it's only temporary. When a relationship ends, we're all so in a rush to fill that void. And the reality is, most people do choose to engage in that hookup culture. They do choose to get under multiple people to get over someone. But you're just trying to prove a point, right? Not only to yourself, but to everybody else. Rebounding isn't about love. It's a self-soothing mechanism that you guys label moving on. With all that being said, let's talk about the breakup detox that nobody admits they really need. I just want to explain the structure of this episode really quickly. It's going to be divided into two parts, okay? Part one is going to be for the rebounders, those who have just gotten out of a relationship, those who are rushing to fill the void. And part two is going to be for the rebounded, aka the real victims in all of this. The people who are used to fill this void. I'm about to change how you view your ex-partners that have chosen to use other people to fill the void that you have left. And I'm also about to change the perception of those watching from the sideline. Those watching that person that just got out of a relationship losing themselves in everybody, left, right, and center. How that person's actions are screaming what they're truly going through and how you should never ever get involved. Part one, the rebounders. Rebounding is a mirror. It shows what you're trying not to face. Okay, now men versus women. Although the way in which they rebound have a lot of similarities, the underlying causes and reasons as to why they rebound tend to differ. Men are physical, dopamine-driven beings, okay? They are attracted to anything that is new and exciting. So whatever that thing is doesn't actually matter. When they're hurt and rebounding hard, it's a quantity over quality thing for them. And then women are emotional, oxytocin-driven beings. They're attracted to anything that feels emotionally safe, emotionally fulfilling. Men rebound for physical comfort. Men rebound for validation. They rebound to soothe their ego. Women rebound for emotional distraction, revenge validation, and oftentimes to regain some kind of control over her sexuality. I'm choosing to sleep with this many people because I have the power and freedom to do so. And although there are key differences, both men and women who choose to rebound do it out of fear of loneliness, out of fear of being alone. And in my opinion, for both men and women, there is nothing empowering or even remotely admirable about allowing anybody and everybody to have access to you, especially if you're seeking it out post-relationship. It's giving desperation. Going around to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, or the female equivalent for the men listening, and being like, who want me, isn't convincing anybody that you're actually moving on and finding peace for yourself. Just saying. Okay, now let's get sciencey. A psychologist by the name of James W. Callatt, he has a textbook named Biological Psychology. In this textbook, he mentions the physiological and neurological mechanisms that underlie human behavior. So in episode 1, we talked about the hormone oxytocin, and we also mentioned how it plays a significant role in bonding and attachment. So oxytocin is released during intimate interactions, such as hugging, kissing, any kind of sexual activity, facilitating close social bonds. So when a romantic relationship ends, that sudden loss of oxytocin release can actually lead to feelings of distress and withdrawal, similar to the cravings experienced during substance withdrawal. Isn't that crazy? So our brain, okay? Our brains actually have a reward system, particularly the mesolimbic dopamine pathway. And this is actually activated during romantic love, so it reinforces behaviors that feel pleasurable and rewarding. So guys, get this. After a breakup, the decreased stimulation of this pathway can result in a lower mood and an increased motivation to seek alternative sources of reward. This may manifest as rebound relationships or other reward-seeking behaviors. So going back to the topic of this episode, do you see how your ex-partner's decision to rebound has nothing to do with you as a person and has everything to do with that person and how they are reacting to your absence? Okay, so within all this analyzation of how people choose to move on after their relationships have ended, I do think it's important to note that age matters. So if you were the older one in your last relationship and your ex-partner is still in their early 20s and they're going out, having fun, getting drunk, legally, just doing the do, I need you to understand and realize that that is exactly what they are supposed to be doing. They're in the early 20s. They're having fun. Let them. Let them do it. Let them indulge. Let them have fun. So I don't want to hear a man in his mid to late 20s complaining how his ex, who is still in her early 20s, is going out partying all the time after they broke up. Fuck off and leave her alone. She's young. She's literally doing what young people are supposed to be doing. She's having fun, getting drunk. Fucking YOLO, bitch. Who cares? Finding herself. Let her do it. She's making silly mistakes. The biggest one was probably you. So let her fucking figure it out, bro. I also don't want to hear a woman in her mid-20s complaining about how her 22-year-old ex is out hoeing around. What did you expect? He's a young lad. Most boys, especially in their early 20s, need to get that out of their system. They don't know what they like yet. They're experimenting. They're figuring their stuff out as well. Girls usually indulge in partying. Boys usually indulge in hookup culture. That's just the reality. They're young. They're figuring it out. Leave them the fuck alone. They are no longer your concern. Move on. Like, shouldn't you be focusing on building your credit and getting a mortgage or something? I feel like a big question that a lot of women have is, how do men seem to move on so quick? How can a man be in a relationship one day and then get under someone literally the following night? Well, if it isn't already obvious, your ex-man is a hoe, okay? But I'm about to explain the real reasons why men seem to rebound faster. Do you see how I said rebound and not moving on? Because that's exactly what he's doing. Rebounding. He's putting on a performance to avoid the pain associated with the ending of a relationship he was just in. Ego protection. We also talked about this in episode 1, where men are often socialized in associating their worth with external achievements, including women. So when men get dumped, their ego takes a direct hit, literal ego death. So rebounding becomes a way to prove they're still desirable, to regain control, to repair their bruised masculinity. They want that feeling that their ex gave them, attention, admiration, the comfort of being chosen. And this is why rebound girls aren't the solution. They're a mirror for his ego. He's trying to prove a point to himself, to his ex, and to everybody else that he is still wanted. He is still capable of being chosen. Do I still matter if she doesn't want me anymore? Let me go find someone who will. They need someone to choose them again immediately. This is why they don't care who it is. Again, quantity over quality. The more women, the bigger the void. And more importantly, the bigger the impact that someone else's absence has on him. A man who is at peace with himself and respects himself is fine being alone. He doesn't allow his past relationships to push him into a spiral of self-loathing, attention-seeking, dirty behavior, always having a revolving door of women around him. Additionally, a man who is at peace with himself and respects himself also has his own bills paid. He has his career on track. He has emotional intelligence. He has the capacity and the courage to love himself and others. A man that needs attention from multiple women is unhappy with himself. That means he will never respect you the way you deserve, because he doesn't even respect himself. And I reckon a lot of us could agree that how your partner acts at the end of the relationship and post-relationship really solidifies whether you made the right decision or not. So in the aforementioned circumstances, to the ex, be glad he's not your problem anymore. But to the rebound girls, run. So the faster and louder this rebound ritual is, the deeper the hurt, the deeper the longing, and the deeper the void left by a woman of his past. This may be shown in Instagram posts or quick new relationships. I think a long-running joke on the internet is, oh yeah, I broke up with my man and now all of a sudden he's posting on Instagram like he's a influencer. Men also rebound faster because it is a massive avoidance of emotional processing. Men are rarely taught how to process grief, rejection, heartbreak, shame, because emotional vulnerability has been long perceived as weakness in male social circles for far too long, and it's dead wrong. Men, you need to realize that these emotions, these feelings, are okay. Emotional vulnerability is not weakness. It's normal. You are human. It is okay to feel. And as soon as you accept that it is okay to feel these emotions, maybe then you'll no longer participate in such self-destructive behavior. So instead of sitting with this heartbreak, unpacking attachment patterns, confronting emotional wounds, maybe even going to therapy, you self-medicate with distraction. Whether it's sex, partying, new women, work, rebounding becomes a coping mechanism. Let me stay too busy so I don't have to feel the pain of this breakup. You're not over her by doing all of this. You're avoiding yourself. Re-establishing dominance in the dating hierarchy is also another reason why men seem to rebound faster. In the male psyche, a breakup can subconsciously trigger a loss of status, especially if his ex moves on first or glows up. So rebounding is often a race to reclaim the upper hand, especially if he feels publicly rejected. So if your friends or people you know of are aware of your breakup, he's likely going to go to lengths to replace you as quick as possible just so he can protect his ego. This is when you may have instances where your male ex is still trying to control you after the breakup. He literally doesn't want it to be known that you are no longer his girl and that you're moving on from him. He probably hasn't even told people that you guys are no longer together. And this is why some men start posting thirst traps, flaunting the new girl, or showing off online. It's not always about genuine connection, but perception. He's trying to control how others are viewing him and perceiving his actions post-breakup. Because if he can make it look like he's moved on, and make others see it too, maybe then he'll also start to believe that he's truly moved on. But that's not healing. Again, it's all a performance of avoidance. For men, there is a need for familiarity and emotional safety. Yes, really. Even though men are more emotionally stunted and often emotionally reserved, they do still bond very deeply, often way more than they let on. So after losing their main source of comfort, regulation, and emotional support, many men panic and they seek immediate replacements because they just crave that feeling of being known again. But because they haven't processed their grief or identified their emotional needs, they project their ex's role onto somebody new, which tends to set up that rebound relationship to fail, unless they find someone who's willing to settle. Revenge, or a one-upmanship. Yes, a man may pursue someone else very quickly out of pettiness, revenge, rage, or fear of being left behind. This isn't about connection. It's about winning. It's about winning the subconscious game of, I didn't lose. I replaced you first. Look, I'm already over it. The rebounds become collateral in a breakup war, not a partner. I'll get deeper into this later, but this is why you should never willingly be the rebound. You're not talking to or dating a man freshly out of a relationship. You're a void filler. Have some self-respect. Men rebound faster because men rebound down. Also, there is more women out there that want a relationship versus men that want a relationship. So men already have like a bigger pool to choose from when it comes to choosing immediate replacements, immediate sources of validation, immediate void fillers. They literally have a bigger selection to choose from. So it's logistically easier and quicker for men to rebound to. But above all, it's a psychological pattern. Men will rebound with the women who are the opposite of what he respected in his ex. Yes, he will go for the hoes. He will go for those who are easy. He will go for those who are less emotionally complex. Because that's exactly what he's looking for. He's looking for easy. He's looking for something quick. So if your ex-man was always worried about you hanging around girls who were hoes, or afraid of you acting like or becoming a hoe, just know that that is the exact kind of women he is going to rebound with. He wants someone that makes him feel powerful, not challenged. Why? Because the breakup made him feel small. He wants to feel in control again. And when this backfires, they actually often resent the rebound for not being their ex, or punish her for things she never even did. So again, never willingly be the rebound. He will end up hurting you 10 times more than he ever hurt his exes. I will get deeper into that later. Men don't rebound because they're over their ex. They rebound because they are not ready to face themselves. They're filling voids, nursing egos, and distracting themselves from the fact that something actually broke inside of them when the relationship ended. Real emotional maturity comes when a man can actually sit with his heartbreak, learn from it, and grow to become a better person without the need for a placeholder. And no, this does not happen within a matter of weeks. So any man who's fresh out of a breakup and says he's healed is plotting on you so hard, girl. Please run. Okay, now on to the women. Why do women rebound? Emotional distraction. Due to a combination of social conditioning, our good old friend oxytocin and its bonding components, and attachment styles, we, on average, tend to be more emotionally invested in relationships. For some women, when a man breaks up with them, they tend to experience this painful cycle of regret, overthinking, loneliness, maybe even as deep as a loss of purpose. Which, before I continue, you better stand the fuck up and not allow someone to have so much power over you. Obviously, that's easier said than done, but that's why you're here listening to me, right? I'm here to teach you, okay? So instead of sitting with the discomfort that comes from this painful cycle, you rush to replace the feeling with connection or something that mimics it. That connection isn't something rooted in mutual care or stability. It's literally like a band-aid over a bullet wound. You want to feel desired, to forget the fact that you were discarded. Revenge and ego reclamation. Yes, this one is a bit similar to the one we mentioned about men. So just like I explained earlier, there's like this need to be seen winning after a breakup from both parties. You may not admit it, but I know deep down in your psyche, you're thinking, I'll show him how replaceable he is. Look at me getting attention. This is less about empowerment and sexual liberation and more like a bruised ego trying to say that you still got it, that someone else wants you, that you can move on faster than him. Same thing goes for men. Validation seeking. Women, especially ones who were emotionally and psychologically neglected in their past relationship, they may feel starved of admiration, affection, or attention. So after a breakup, that next person becomes a source of reassurance that they're still desirable. But this creates unhealthy dependency on external validation rather than internal self-affirmation. So when the new connection starts fading or doesn't fulfill that deep emotional void, the cycle continues. It literally becomes a habit of using people to forget people. Think about the people who are literally always in a relationship, like they are never single, women and men. They may only be single for like 2-3 weeks at a time between relationships. Those are the types of people that are usually stuck in that cycle of using people to forget people. This next reason as to why women rebound may ruffle some feathers, but guess what? Don't care. Regaining control over sexuality, aka false empowerment. These modern narratives are pushing women to reclaim their power through hypersexuality, as if sex equals healing and dominance. And while there's nothing wrong with owning your sexuality, intention is everything. If your rebound is motivated by feeling powerless, rejected, or wanting to prove something to an ex, just like men, it's not empowerment. It's performative healing. It often leaves women and men feeling more empty, more used, and even more lost. To all the girls that may be listening or watching me on YouTube, I want you to know that empowerment doesn't come from being wanted. It comes from knowing you don't need to be. Loss of identity and role reattachment. Many women identify heavily with being someone's girlfriend or wife or whatever. So a breakup can literally trigger an identity crisis. So she jumps into another role, subconsciously trying to feel stable again. She's seeking someone new to prove she's still lovable. But rebounding for identity reattachment usually leads to an even deeper disconnection, both from yourself and others. And rebounding for women isn't often about sex. It's about soothing pain, quieting the ego, putting a prove a point that you're still desirable isn't cutting it. Immediately seeking out or allowing anybody and everybody to have access to you is literally the biggest display of desperation. Being a hoe as a man or a woman ain't cute, no matter how hurt you are. Have some self-respect. All you're doing by parading yourself around for attention and validation is handing your ex more power, because your actions are still being dictated by their shadow. You pushed me to do this. I did it because you said this, you said that. Why does your ex have that much power over you? You're supposed to be moving on. You're supposed to not care. Fix up. All rebounding does is show emotional weakness and desperation. Strong people sit in silence and evolve. So stop trying to throw bodies at this void you're trying to fill, and actually listen to what the void is asking for. Okay, Sadie, so all you've been doing is talking shit about people who rebound after relationships. How are you supposed to heal then? Well, in my opinion, self-respect and isolation is power. Not using other people to get over someone. It's not fair to them, and it's also not fair to yourself. Seriously. It takes a lot of strength to look yourself in the mirror and do some deep, deep self-reflection. It takes a lot of strength to face yourself for the good and the bad, especially the bad. It's not easy to do. So, in my opinion, the strongest men and the strongest women isolate to heal. They do the inner work, they do the self-reflection, they do the shadow work so that they can actually grow and learn to become better people. Because respecting yourself means you don't allow temporary comfort to ruin your long-term character. How do we respect ourselves then? Well, guys, here's how you respect yourself. Number 1, control your lust. Have enough self-respect not to give your body away to some random person. Number 2, invest in yourself, not in someone new. They can't make you happy. Only you can. Number 3, match people's energy. If people disrespect you, stay silent and move accordingly. There's really no need for some big reaction, because that's probably what that other person is looking for anyways. In any kind of situation. That's honestly like life advice. Number 4, never beg to stay in anybody's life. Your ex is probably using a rebound to get a reaction out of you. Do not give them that reaction by begging for them back because you feel like you've lost a sense of control. It's not worth it. Your ex is showing exactly who they are by rebounding, by using all of these innocent people to make themselves feel better. They are literally showing you that they never respected themselves in the first place. Why would you even want to be associated with, let alone in a relationship with somebody who not only lacks such self-worth, but publicly disrespects themselves by rebounding with anybody and everybody that will let them? Now, specifically for the women, I need you girls to understand that being intimate with a man is one of the riskiest things you can ever do. It could be a potential life sentence for you, energetically, physically, all for 10 minutes of his pleasure. Intimacy is an energy exchange. Why are you exchanging your sacred energy with random people? It's literally dangerous. You ever heard of soul ties and shit like that? If you have ever been or are currently stuck in a toxic cycle with a horrible, horrible ex or a horrible boyfriend or girlfriend, the likelihood of you having some kind of trauma bond or a soul tie is very, very high. Those things exist. So please be careful with who you exchange your energy with. And yes, when we talk about it being an energy exchange, that goes for men as well. However, the biological difference that we have, women, is that we have a womb. That womb is literally the center of life creation. So please be mindful with who you exchange energies with. And for the men, you guys have so much more to offer than your bodies. And you do have more to offer than your wallets. Whatever, like you do, okay? I'll give you that. No, but seriously, naturally, you have rationale. You have logic. You have discipline, you have charisma. Why don't you use those assets to build a stable and strong foundation for your future wife and or kids, if that's what you want? But a lot of men also tend to have suppressed and underdeveloped emotional intelligence. So instead of just throwing yourself at anything with a beating heart, why don't you work on how to recognize and process those emotions? Because I actually don't know where this narrative came from. Actually, yes, I do. It literally came from men. I don't know where you guys got this narrative of, yeah, women want men that have had a lot of women because it shows that, like, he has some kind of, like, valuable asset or something. I need you men to understand that high-value women don't actually want men who have had every other woman, okay? High-value women don't want to be just another number. If there's one thing that I want the men to take from this episode, it's that a lustful man is a weak man. Show me you can actually control yourself, then you'll actually impress me. Because everyone and their mother knows that, like, men like to be physical. It's pretty common sense at this point. So any man that can show he actually has a sense of self-control is a man that separates himself from all those other low-value men, throw themselves at anything, okay? Women We don't want them. And this is also the narrative that I'm trying to change. Women, stop going for the players. Stop going for the lustful men. I don't care if you're just looking for a hookup. I literally do not care. If you're just looking for a hookup, at least go for the man who's got money and has like a sense of humor. Yes, men also aren't funny. Sorry, they're not. Stop going for the men whose side hustle is how many women they can pick up every weekend at the club. Because that's also why there's a double standard in our society. A man who sleeps with a lot of people is a player, but a woman who sleeps with a lot of people is a slut. Let's just call it for what it is. A man who sleeps with a lot of people is a slut. He's not a player. If you want to be a player so bad, get on a fucking sports team and make yourself useful. And another double standard, these women who sleep with a lot of people that society deems as sluts are labeled easy. I'm sorry, I have met an abundance amount of easy men compared to easy women. So if these female sluts are easy, what does that make you? Sorry, that was like a whole side rant. Honestly, it's been on my mind for days and I just really needed to get that out there, okay? Anyways, a lustful man is a weak man. Get your pride under control, get your sobriety under control, get your laziness under control, get your discipline under control, get your faith under control, get your lust under control, get your emotions under control. And I also want to highlight men getting their faith under control, because this doesn't even have to be religious or spiritual. I'm really just referring to a strong belief system. And women love men who have purpose and are strongly rooted in who they are based on strong morals and values. Another personal opinion of mine, I briefly did touch upon this earlier in the episode, but I think the most masculine men actually have the courage to love. I think it's the insecure men, or the ones who haven't worked on themselves enough to develop a strong sense of masculinity, are the ones that want worship. Men who are mature, abundant, and secure in their manhood know the power of loving. Those who want to be worshipped and only view women on what they do for them are the ones who just want to be loved. But real masculine men actually have the courage and the capacity to love. They are brave for doing this, and they also don't care if it's taken advantage of, because nothing can shake them. They are so rooted in themselves that the actions from another person could never uproot their foundations of being a good person. If shit happens to them, they process and they keep it pushing. Who you rebounded with often shows what you avoided. So men will go for the women that they once judged, the hoes, the easy ones. You guys are so quick to call women and whores, maybe even your girlfriend or ex-girlfriend a slut or a whore, but who did you run to after she broke up with you? So I mean, don't bite the hand that feeds you, I guess. These women are literally giving you a source of validation. Be grateful. And no, they don't run to these types of women because they've changed their view on them. They run to these types of women because they have low boundaries and won't ask for emotional depth. That's exactly what he needs right now when he's rebounding. It's projection. He doesn't want a woman like you anymore because you made him face himself. And the women, yeah, they're gonna go for the guy that they told you not to worry about. Yes, it's true that not all women, but a lot of women know who's next. And they usually know who's next because women usually check out months before they end the relationship. So she's had time to think. So don't be shocked or surprised when she goes for the guy who she told you not to worry about, or she goes for the guy who's just a friend. No, she had him ready. Okay, she had him ready and he was waiting. He was waiting for you guys to break up. Trust me. This honestly could be tied back to some kind of emotional warfare, because I do think there's something to be said about a man worrying so much about another man getting his girl, either during the relationship or after the relationship. I do think there's something to be said about how that almost subconsciously pushes his girl further towards that man that he's worried about. I actually don't know why that is, but as a woman, I have to say, it definitely has a lot of truth to it, and I'm sure a lot of women can say it has a lot of truth to it too. Again, this isn't all women, but I have to say, I have heard that happen more than once. So for those who are not watching me on YouTube and are listening to me on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, right now I'm holding up a book by Robert Greene. Who's shocked? It's called The Laws of Human Nature. And it has probably been maybe one of the hardest reads I've ever had in my entire life. This book is thick as fuck, okay? And the words on the page are so tiny. They're so tiny, bro. Anyways, there's two laws that I want to highlight here. Law number 4. The law of compulsive behavior. This law outlines the fact that people unconsciously repeat patterns. So if he's always been one to rebound and get his next supply of attention and validation, he will repeat the same cycle until he learns his lesson. Men, do not let that lesson be one that costs you your future, okay? Please be safe. And law number 8. The law of self-sabotage. In this law, he outlines how weak people destroy good things just to avoid facing inner conflict. So if she's so used to being in toxic relationships, she will do and say anything to draw you back into that toxic cycle with her. Rebounders aren't just avoiding their feelings. They're running from self-accountability. All right, guys, we've made it through part 1. Now it's time for part 2, the rebounded. If you feel like something is off, that's because it is, okay? You can't possibly be the healing, the closure, and the replacement all in one. Study his past so you don't become it. Let's be honest, if a toxic man was honest about his past, you wouldn't be dating him. Unless his bad past were like years and years ago, and he is truly changed, like you can see it in his actions every single day, that he is now a changed man. The reality is he just got out of a relationship last month and he's still probably a piece of shit. A man who still has something bad to say about his ex is a man who's still concerned with his ex. If he cares about what she's up to, good or bad, he still gives a fuck. Men are naturally not as emotional as women. So if he's still attaching an emotion to something that his ex is up to, and he's still bothered enough to say something about it, he cares about her more than he cares about you. Because if he actually cared about you, he wouldn't even dare mention another woman he's been intimate with, let alone in a relationship with, that he emotionally invested in. If he has truly moved on, anything in reference to a woman of his past wouldn't be brought up in the slightest ever. So if he still cares about what his ex is up to and is yapping on about it, complaining about it, I don't even care. If anything in reference to his ex is coming out of his mouth, he still cares. If a man only has bad things to say about his ex, he's unhealed and still bothered. She clearly still has some kind of power over him. Imagine another woman having power over your man. If he only has good things to say about her, then he's still emotionally attached. Apathy is the only good and acceptable emotion a man should feel for his ex-girlfriends. We ended for a reason. I've grown. That's that. Done. Period. End of story. Recalling the situation with indifference, and only when prompted to, so like if you were to ask him about his exes, is the only acceptable way a man should be talking about his ex. If he even dares to say she's crazy, for you, then happy for you. Because he's never going to be honest with you about his past. I mean, why would he ruin his chances of validation through you by being honest about why his last relationship ended? If he was honest with you about why his last relationship ended, he would also have to be honest with you about why he hasn't changed as a person, because it psychologically takes years for another person to change. And that means he also has to be honest with you about why he hasn't healed from his past relationships. So when his mask falls, he's about to put you through Hell. A man obsessed with hurting his ex or talking bad about her is a man who's still holding on to some big boy feelings. So you will always be second to him because he hates her more for leaving him than he will ever love you. Also, warning for the rebound girls, the likelihood of him still being in contact with his ex during all of this is very high. Okay? So don't be shocked if they all of a sudden get back together when you think you're dating this newly changed man. When a man rebounds with you, he's missing his ex through you. Just like The Weeknd says. Sorry. Rebound girls, I'm telling you this because I feel for you. You shouldn't be in this position, okay? But I need you to get this through your head. Men use rebounds instead of healing. He is using you to mask his pain. A man who just sent paragraphs to his ex begging for her back and then gets into a relationship with you all within the same month is not in love with you. You have him because another girl didn't want him. You're not special to him. You're just a mirror of what his ex gave him. And the reality is, you'll never be good enough because you aren't her. And I'm not even saying that as a bad thing. Like, factually, you are just not her. So he's going to punish you for it. So whenever he's being distant, cold, or weird, it's because he doesn't know how to be without her. He's just trying to be with someone. And unfortunately, you're the new monkey in his circus. The same things he did with his ex at the beginning of their relationship, he's going to do with you. To trick you. If he made her a playlist, guess who else is getting a playlist? And he's doing the same things with you that he once did with her because he's trying to relive the best moments with his ex through you. Men who change too fast are not changed. If you think a man who just got out of a relationship, especially if it was a long-term one, is truly into you, you're actually a whole new level of delusional, my love. Because according to neuropsychology, true transformation takes 7 to 10 years of consistent behavioral rewiring. Dr. Joe Dispenza says this, and he's a renowned author and speaker in personal transformation. So, Miss Rebound, this magical transformation that you think your new boyfriend has gone through, I need you to understand that true change involves breaking down ingrained thought patterns, shifting beliefs, and creating a new conscious reality. Do you know how hard that is to do? So if it takes 7 to 10 years for all of this to occur and be successful, what exactly makes you think he's changed in 7 to 10 weeks? And I know so many people can attest to this because I know a lot of us have been with people who have trust issues that weren't even caused by us. These types of people are still allowing their past situations to have power over them. They aren't over it. Okay, so if you know me personally, you probably know that one of my favorite things to reference is how my frontal lobe is developing or has developed. Literally anytime I make a decision on something, I could literally choose to walk to the store instead of drive, and I'll be like, my frontal lobe decided to develop today. I've decided to walk instead of drive to the grocery store. Like, I don't know, it's just like one of my favorite things to reference to. I just think it's so versatile and like impactful at the same time. I don't know. So I think we all know what the frontal lobe is because it's honestly referenced a lot online as well. But something you may not know is that your frontal lobe actually becomes fully developed by time you are 25 years old. So for me personally, a man has until about the age of 23. Yeah, 23. To say to himself, okay, let me grow up. And then he has until the age of 25 to start moving different. So he's got 2 years to get a grip and develop some kind of self-respect for himself. Your frontal lobe is your impulse control center. That's why you still see some grown-ass men acting like little boys. So if he was still hoeing around and pursuing multiple women at the ripe age of 25, and you think you're special just because he either slept with you or got into a relationship with you, you're not special. You're just the easier option for him because you challenge him the least. When a man is put under pressure by a woman to become a better man, he either rises to the occasion or he cracks under that pressure, aka cheats or rebounds. Those are both actions of a very, very weak man who couldn't stand the heat in the kitchen, so he had to get in between someone's legs instead. You're his rebound because you don't challenge him to change his toxic ways. He doesn't give a fuck. He's comfortable. A prime example is Jackson Brittany from Vanderpump Rules. Okay, let me cook on this one. That is exactly what happens when a man never evolves. He just keeps dropping his mask and then putting a new one up for the next girl. Before I continue, if you don't know who Jackson Brittany are, if you don't even know what Vanderpump Rules is, Google it. I'm not here to explain the synopsis of the fucking show to you. I'm here to talk about rebounds, okay? Listen. Brittany truly thought that she was different. And everyone else thought that she was different too. But guess who got treated the worst out of all of his ex-girlfriends? Brittany. If you're not keeping up with them currently, they got divorced. Because yeah, no, obviously they're no longer together. Like, that's what happens with the rebound. Are we not following? Yes, the rebound gets it the worst. That's why I said at the beginning of this episode that the rebounds are the real victims. If you don't know anything about this law, you're gonna have no idea who I'm about to mention. Laura Lee was the rebound to Stassi, then Tiffany was the rebound, then Cameron was the rebound, and then, what's even her name? Val? Is that her name? Fuck. She was in it for like one season, I don't know. But I think Val was like kind of almost a rebound. Anyways, and then Lala was an attempted rebound, and Brittany is the one who settled. Jax found his woman that was willing to settle. He found a woman that was dumb enough to believe his lies, forgive his infidelities, and stick it out with him. It doesn't get better with you. It gets worse. He may be able to wear his mask longer with you, but one day you're going to be married and stuck with his kid, and then you're going to realize way too late how he used you as a distraction so he didn't need to face himself. Yes, men will go that far with a woman he doesn't truly want. I guess I could refer to the taxi cab theory in this instance, but I don't know how I feel about that entire theory itself, to be fair. If you don't know what the taxi cab theory is, it's basically this theory where men just marry the first woman that comes along when he's ready. So he may want to marry a girl, but the fact that he isn't ready to get married himself is the reason why he actually may never marry her, even if she's the woman of his dreams. There's a quote by Mel Robbins that says, "It happened because he's an asshole with a lot of trauma, who doesn't want to face it, and who's been avoiding it. And we all know he's going to do the same thing to the next person if he doesn't face that trauma now." And that trauma is all from his childhood, by the way. Just so you know. Okay, so now for the women. Honestly, this is honestly one of the moments where I have to contemplate if women are like more evil than men. And I only say that because a woman's rebound doesn't feel so obvious at first. A man's rebound, it's very easy to detect, it's very easy to see, and it's very easy to dismiss. Who cares? Yeah, you're a man, blah, blah, blah. Don't care. But for women, like, it's very quiet. It's very quiet, like, and I'm sorry, but we're really fucking smart. We're really, really smart, especially when it comes to, like, emotions and stuff. Oh, okay, let me chill. I'm still biased, okay? I'm still a woman. I can't just be exposing all of our secrets all at once, okay? I'm not gonna do that. A woman might look healed, she may sound centered, she might even post about how at peace she is. But what does she choose to do in her free time? How does she act in real life? What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of her? Women will use their rebound for validation, ego, and comfort, the same way as men. They won't use you for genuine connection, so be careful not to confuse your temporary role with long-term potential. When a woman is not over her ex, you're like her emotional cushion, okay? Stay with me, boys. A woman who just left a relationship may not be seeking love, she actually may be seeking relief. Like she's been trapped for so long and she's looking for an escape. You're her escape. She's looking for something new, something fun, something exciting, someone to make her feel something because she hasn't felt anything in such a long time. And there's a massive narrative about how men love to breadcrumb women. Emotional breadcrumbing also exists, okay? Women emotionally breadcrumb men. So she might give you just enough to keep you around. Meanwhile, you're in a competition that you never even signed up for with either her ex or a man of her past. That's where women get scary, because it might not even be her ex. You could be in a relationship with a woman, whether it's a proper relationship or a rebound relationship, and she will subconsciously compare you and make you compete with a man either that she has dated or a man that she wish she had dated. Again, this isn't all women, but it's also not all men, right? This is where it gets scary. Okay, why do I feel like I'm coming to some kind of revelation as I'm speaking about this to you guys? Girls, we are terrifying. Because, like, she'll flirt with you, she'll engage in deep talks with you, she may even share a little music playlist with you, and she'll give you physical intimacy. As more emotional beings, us women can literally make a man fall in love with us by providing what seems like an emotionally safe space and then be like, yeah, see ya. Like, it's fucked. Or she'll completely destroy that emotional space by throwing something in your face that you once confided in her with. So be careful not to piss her off, I guess, but also, girls, do not be that bitch. Do not contribute to the reason why men don't even feel emotionally safe in society in the first place. If you are one of those women who throw back in your man's face, you actually don't even deserve a man with emotional intelligence. A woman can emotionally invest in you and still have her heart elsewhere. She may subtly compare you to her ex, or subtly compare you to a man of her past that she never even dated. Now, here is the difference between men and women that you have to watch for when it comes to how they refer to their ex. If a woman has nothing good to say about her ex, but only speaks about him when prompted to, so if other people ask her, she never brings him up herself, it's safe to say that she's moved on and doesn't care. Women can attach an emotion to something but not necessarily give that emotion any meaning. For example, if a woman's like, yeah, my ex is a piece of shit, you feel like your ex is a piece of shit. Objectively though. But she doesn't think her ex is a piece of shit because she still cares. She thinks her ex is a piece of shit because he treated her like shit. So she's just subjectively attaching a label to this man. But if a woman only has good things to say about her ex, you run away from that girl as fast as you can, because if the opportunity presented itself, she would take him back in a heartbeat. So boys, don't be the understudy for the man of her dreams. A lot of women are petty, spiteful little bit. Also, quick side note, being petty is such a feminine trait. So if you're dealing with a petty man, you might as well invite him out next time you go get your nails done, since he wants to act like a bitch. Some women enter rebound relationships to win the breakup. Like if a girl posts you all over her social media, she's using you to prove a point that she's still desirable. Same if a man is posting his rebound girl all the time. He's using her to prove that he hasn't suffered a massive loss and a blow to his ego. All that's doing is giving look how fast I moved on energy. Not that you're truly happy with someone new. Like, people can see right through you when you're shoving your new victim down everyone's throats. Like, okay, cool, we get it. Relax. So if you notice she's always trying to post you whenever you guys are together, rather than actually being present with you, she could be using you as strategy. The best relationships aren't showcased online because you're actually just too busy creating real memories in real time and you have no interest in proving that to anyone. Also, evil eye is so real, guys. Like, I rarely or never post anybody I truly care about because I swear people be sending bad vibes through their phone screens, man. So men, what are some red flags that you need to look out for so that you don't become a girl's rebound? She moves very fast. If she calls you different, she's never felt like this before, you're the man of her dreams, all within weeks, broski. All you are to her right now is just a breath of fresh air. She will get bored of you soon too. She wants your time but guards her emotions. If you're always trying to go emotionally deeper with her, but she tends to shut down or almost kind of villainize you for wanting her to express how she feels, that's a very big red flag that you are just a placeholder. She says she's over it, but her actions prove otherwise. Just like men. And I know I said when a woman has something bad to say about her ex, it usually means that she's moved on. Remember how I also said that she never brings him up herself, and she's only just like recalling the situation objectively? If a woman always brings up her ex, especially around you, Mr. Rebound, you're cooked. There's really no other word I can use. There's really no other word I can use in this situation. Women can emotionally orbit as well, you know. Some women won't actually get back with their ex, but they also won't fully let go either. So you're in limbo with her. You'll never be the ex. You'll never be her future. You'll always just be the in-between. Pro tip, if she cannot name what she wants, you're just a placeholder. If she acts like your girlfriend but doesn't want a relationship, she just likes the act of being someone's girlfriend. She doesn't like you. This goes the same for the women who break up with their ex and say, we can still be friends. I'm telling you men right now, as a woman, as someone who has said this before I grew and changed into a better person, she does not care to be your friend, bro. She just still wants emotional access to you until she finds her new emotionally safe place. I'm sorry. So there was a study done in 2014 by Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin, and it found that people with anxious attachment styles are more likely to rebound quickly just to avoid feeling abandoned. This goes for men and women. So rebounds, it's not your fault, okay? You can't control this situation. It's not about you. It's about their avoidance of emotional regulation. A man or woman with low self-worth will usually chase external validation, and unfortunately for the rebounds, you guys become a mirror that they stare into just to feel enough again. Men, if she was really ready, she wouldn't move this fast, okay? If you were truly the one, you wouldn't feel confused. And if she's still healing, she won't be capable of real healthy love at this time, no matter how into you she seems. Don't mistake emotional availability for proximity. A woman could be laying next to you and still have her heart stuck in the past. You deserve to be chosen, not used. So the woman dating the rebounder, he didn't choose you out of worth. He chose you out of urgency. And if a man can be taken from a woman, he can be taken from you too. And guess who ironically probably has the most power to take him from you? I'll let you answer that one yourself. To the men dating the rebounder, if she is overly concerned with how her ex will see the two of you, you're just a pawn in her game. Women who are still in love with their ex will breadcrumb you until it's time to run back. She'll never fully commit or only half commit just in case her ex spins the block. Be a woman's future, not her flex. And to those who found out that their ex is in a rebound relationship and feels kind of a way about it, why do you care? You've already been in the rebounder's position as their partner. You know this person. It didn't work out for a reason. Like, do you want them back or something? Like, why do you care? If your ex was toxic or was the reason why your relationship ended, just know that their new partner isn't better than you. They're just better for them. They're more on their level. So why do you care? If he was the one to break up with you, allow him to move on and try with someone he feels like values him more. And men, if your girl broke up with you, allow her to be happy with someone new. And accept the fact that she's finally found someone who makes her feel safe, who makes her feel valued, who makes her feel loved. Accept the fact that you just weren't able to do that for her. And that's okay. And I can fully understand why finding out your ex is in a rebound relationship can stir up some kind of emotions. I mean, I feel like it also depends on the nature of your past relationship. So I guess the only advice I could really give here is choosing to hold back and not give in to the impulse of emotionally reacting, because it will actually shift the dynamic into your favor. Okay, let me explain. When you don't react, it creates a space of curiosity in their mind, a space where questions and feelings may linger. Your silence will plant a seed of doubt in the new relationship because it shows that you're steady and composed, rather than the problem that they may be trying to blame you for. You're also not reinforcing any negative narratives that your ex has likely, inevitably told their new partner about you and the people around them. So by doing all of that, you maintain your dignity and your power. So in conclusion, you can't build intimacy on a cracked foundation. No one can fill a void that you refuse to face. Rebounding is a mirror, whether you're the one doing it or the one being used to do it. Learn to see through the disguise. I think we can conclude that it is much better to heal after a breakup, instead of rushing to fill that void with temporary satisfaction. But Sadie, how do we heal? You want us to heal so bad? F***ing teach us then. So how do we do that? How do we truly heal after a relationship ends? Healing's not a linear process, okay? You could feel good and great and healed one day, and then the next you could feel like you're 10 steps behind in your journey. But if you are truly serious about healing, here's how you're gonna do it. There's 4 people you have to forgive first. And when I say forgive, I don't mean excusing one's behavior or letting them off the hook so easy. It's not for them. It's for you. It's about releasing a burden that only weighs you down rather than propelling you further towards peace and acceptance. Ready? Number 1, forgive your parents. Living or gone, whether they did their best or they fell short. They gave you life. So holding on to what they couldn't give you will only keep you stuck. Thank them for what they could offer and let the rest go. A lot of our wounds stem from childhood. A lot of boys are never taught how to be real men because they never had one around to teach them. This breeds abandonment issues, trust issues, self-esteem issues. If he can't trust the one who gave him life, how can he trust anybody else? So save yourself a headache and don't get into a relationship, whether it's a real one or a rebound one, with a man who has these deep-rooted issues, okay? He has but stop reopening a door that life has already closed. Number 3, everyone else who's ever hurt you. Friends, strangers, people who have let you down, your ex that rebounded, your ex that healed and moved on, your ex that played in your face, your ex that tried to make your life hell after you moved on, all of them. Forgive them. You don't need an apology to forgive. You just need your peace. Wipe the slate clean, not for them, but for you. And number 4, the hardest one, yourself. Forgive the version of yourself that made mistakes, who didn't know any better. You can only do your best with the knowledge you have at the time. That doesn't go for the people who did know better and still chose to be a bad person anyways. I think an exorcism is probably better suited for you. But you can't carry the past forever. Okay, this is the present. This is now. Forgiveness, it's not weakness. You can't truly move forward if you're still dragging your past behind you. There's no point in denying or trying to explain, rationalize, or intellectualize situations of the past. Because the past doesn't even exist. You can't change it. So accept it. Forgive it, and let it go. And this has been her Venom. Guys, this was kind of a long one, I won't lie. If you're listening to me on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you can also see me on YouTube if you want to watch an episode. I don't know if you knew this. You've been living under a rock or something, but yes, you can watch me on YouTube. The link will be in the description thingamabob of the episode. But guys, it's truly been a pleasure. I actually really enjoyed talking about today's topic, and I hope you enjoyed listening to it too. I don't even know what the tagline's going to be at the end. Like, I'm still kind of working on it. Stay venomous is kind of like, I mean, I don't know, it's not bad. Stay venomous, I guess. That's quite cool, isn't it? Her venom, snake. Yeah. If you're watching me on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. If you don't subscribe, or if you don't download or follow my show on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you're actually not a part of the snake pit. And I don't fuck with people who aren't a part of the snake pit, okay? No, but seriously, if you're watching me on YouTube, you better subscribe, or I'll send a SWAT team to your house. Also, you can follow her Venom on Instagram and TikTok, so make sure you do that too before I make up a new threat, if you don't. But yeah, guys, love you lots. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you in the next one.